We are so excited to have you guys here. We just learned that this weekend alone, 1,400 people attended this conference.
That is something to be very proud of. Absolutely.
How many of you guys are attending your very first HND conference? Raise your hand. Woohoo! Way to go. I hope that you guys are enjoying it. We were just talking before about our first experience at HND, and I remember I was in college, probably like many of you guys, and I honestly can't tell you a lot about the sessions that I attended because I have the attention span of a 2-year-old. However, I do remember 2 specific things about my first HND experience. The first was that I felt like that conference was the first time I could walk into a room and not have to explain myself. I wasn't asked what my name meant. I wasn't asked where I'm from, where I'm really from. And I could just walk into a room and I was understood, and that was very big for me. The second thing I remember is being inspired and being intimidated all at once, right? Because for the first time in my life, here I was in a room full of very smart, motivated Hmong professionals, and it was something I aspired to be, but was also really scared of at once. Kevin, what was your first HND conference like?
I did all that just because I went to my first conference in Denver, Colorado. Any Colorado folks here? And I went there as the first newly elected executive director of Shades of Yellow. And so it was very intimidating, but at the same time, very rewarding. And it's very inspirational. So a great experience in Denver.
Yeah, for sure. And we hope that many of you guys walk away inspired after tonight's banquet. Before we get started, let's take care of some housekeeping items. Just want to let you guys know, if you haven't seen it yet, there are a couple cash bars outside of outside of the ballroom here. Also, Councilman Dai Tao, if you are here, our keynote speaker, I understand you have a PowerPoint you'll be presenting. If you can find Jenny Zhang to give you your device, that'd be great. Jenny, where are you? Can you raise your hand so Councilmember Dai Tao knows to find you? Lots of moving bodies. We'll find a way to get that. Kevin?
Alrighty, and also there are some vases at each table. Please do not take those home or else you will buy them. So, sorry, I know they are beautiful, but you cannot take them home, okay? I will wrestle you down. Okay, so before we introduce our next speakers, I just want to say that Plau chào xong yang toàn địa của sang có bị cho mong suốt là cải tạo cải chế tàu kế phong như plau chào xong toàn địa bị hay là dòng trang còn màu nữa, okay? Well, without further ado, absolutely. Without further ado, I would like to introduce Bao Vang, the President and CEO of HND Hmong American Partnership, and Dr. Zhang Blong, the Board President of HND.
nhớ rằng thọ hỏi giờ mua cho nè cho gì một cho nó cho hòa sẽ là tôi nhau nó một cho mình tôi mình nhua một cho Paul một cho giàu lao thêm một cho special guest và nhau lại cho donors sẽ bị cho sponsors trong số cần cầu nữa bé chỉ mua ấy giả đã chỉ là bảo tàu bây giờ cái dòng xe việt thì nó sẽ được tôi bố trí nè, vì thì bên ngoài cho khoa nó hay chỉ bảo lồng mông thôi này thì cũng do hay lồng mông theo lồng này cả thế cho anh ở gì nên nó là có thế này và hiện tại thế thọ ra gì nữa mà. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to welcome you, our honored guests, our sponsors, our donors, our community leaders, our students. And of course our staff and volunteers. This is a great event. It's a full house. I'm very pleased to welcome everybody to our 17th HND banquet. Now, every year during our conference, we created this banquet as a space for us to come together and just to celebrate. But also, we also creating this space to recognize some of our most influential leaders. And tonight, you will see some of our leaders. So before I move forward, I also want to recognize a couple of people first, and then I'll hand over to Bao, who will be thanking some of our, again, our sponsors and donors and other significant individuals. On the chapter, no, talk about này thì cho xem một thảo bé world conference cho nên cho gì thế cho phong dư một cho nó cho qua bé cho lùa bé qua cho ý họ ý lô miệt trong mỏ nó là chơi cho bé cho cái sĩ hậu sinh ai có bé bỏ tàu hay thì sẽ tua tàu ý vấn thi nó giờ lúc sĩ hậu bé lò ai bé giờ lò ok ai có bé một cái trong xe thế bé họ một cho nó cho qua nó bé sẽ bé giò bé xa hay thì giờ mua cho tư cho chạy trắng này có bé mua xe hơi nó là qua lại trâu, ai có bé bỏ tàu thì cho qua la qua cả cho bé chạy nhanh có lại lu xe hơi thì là chính kỳ lại thì là mua đam mua giò, nè ai giờ lên nó thâu nó to cũng xa hay thì bé qua lên nó mà chỉ ít tuần này qua xí nữa, cho trong lên qua lúc còn trồng trong là thì là chăng mà giờ cũng xa có thầu của hai giờ nay sau đó nó sẽ thầu có sao giờ ai cũng xa có này bao hay thì cho này qua hậu là nhá để xem mà này chỉ bảo hay tiền này nhớ cho sáng đầu là hay tiền nhớ cho tỏ background nó lên từ là cũng sẽ có cho HND Board of Directors and HAB Board of Directors này sai đó bây giờ sai rồi. So I want you to know that doing such a huge work like this takes a lot of people, and a lot of these people are actually unsung heroes who oftentimes stay behind the scene, and I want to recognize them and also want to make sure that you understand and know who they are. And at this time I want the HND Board of Directors and the HAB Board of Directors, if you could rise up and people know who you are. So if you could give a loud applause to my Board of Directors for both organizations. I also want to thank the staff. I know that we often take the credits as Board of Directors, and the staff, they work so hard. And so I want to thank Bao, my CEO and President, along with her staff, both from the HND and the staff side. So staff, if you could stand up. If you're here, if you could stand up, please give a loud applause to the staff. They are, again, they make everything happen. And I know we also have a lot of volunteers. Without the volunteers, again, this will not happen. So if you volunteers, if you could stand up, and we'd like to recognize you. So volunteers, thank you. So we have a great program, and enjoy it. And then at this time, I'm going to hand over to Bao first.
Welcome, everybody. Good evening. Did you all have a great conference? Yeah? Good. It is my honor to welcome all of you to HND's 17th annual conference and also HND's annual banquet. Nó xin tỏ tại ní chúa lên chỗ tù nó là ní tuần đó bên nhau nó thia chỉ tại lý nó nó là ní chúng tôi cùng bên lúc cùng song plom nó và trong đó bắt đầu đi Dr. Jam Long tới hai là you look conference solely now requires and takes a lot of effort, and so we would not have been able to accomplish this without all of my staff and volunteers and the many donors who supported this conference. But before I recognize who the supporters are, I think one person deserves special recognition, and that is my director of HND, and that's Bruce Tao. So let's give a shout out to Bruce Tao. Bruce is the man. He has been single-handedly planning the conference. And this is actually his third conference. So as you can see, the great turnout and the success of the conference and this banquet is all due to his planning and the many wonderful staff and volunteers that work for him or with him. I want to also take this opportunity to thank the Crown Plaza staff, so let's give them a shout out. This is also the first time that we have used an outside consultant to also help us with the conference. And so this conference went much, much more smoother than the past. And this is also due to the work of the LeClaire group. So let's give them a shout out. To our AV team, Maple Lane, thank you for also being here with us. And then our very own Hmong, XKZ photographer, please give him a shout out. Most importantly, there are many sponsors that help to invest in this conference and help to make sure that we're able to bring the number of students across from the country to attend this conference, as well as to put all of the wonderful workshops and plenary sessions together. And this would not have been possible without these amazing investors and sponsors and partners. I want to thank our sponsors, Bush Foundation, City of St. Paul and Visit St. Paul, AT&T, FR Bigelow Foundation, the St. Paul Foundation, and Comcast NBC Universal. Please give them a round of applause. I also want to extend a sincere thank you to our VIP table sponsors, Cricket Wireless, Dr. Nia Zhongya, Hope Community Academy, JB Realty, Lao Family Foundation, and Perry Seeds Academy. Please give them a round of applause. Up next in the agenda is that we typically use the banquet to honor those that we also awarded HND scholarships to. So I will have Dr. Dablong do the announcement.
Okay, so every year we have this scholarship for young people, post-secondary, both undergraduate and graduate students. And we have 3 awards. And I'm going to recognize the previous recipients of our scholarship, the HND scholarships, and this year's recipients. And each year we have 3 recipients. But before I do, I want to recognize the hard work of my ad hoc committee members who have working so hard each year to put the application out, working with students, getting the application in, and reviewing all the application before making the decision. So I want to recognize our staff who's working with our board members, Bruce Tao, who's actually working with this scholarship. So Bruce, if you could stand up. So thanks to Bruce. Thank you, Bruce. And I want to recognize Sang Dao Kiel, who's my board of director, Gary Kong, and Kendra Tao, if you could stand up. These are, again, the people who are working behind the scene, putting the application together and selecting these wonderful young people to be a part of our HND legacy. So thank you. So I want to recognize the 2013-2014 HND Educational Scholarship recipients. And if I call your name and if you're here, if you could stand up for us. Tang Vu. Tang Vu from the University of California, Santa Cruz. It's a bachelor's of biology. It's Tang here? She's not. Just one. Okay, and then the next person, Tang's not here. The next person is Bao Nye Moore, University of Wisconsin-Madison, major in bachelor's of social welfare. So, yeah, Bao. Okay. And then we have Andrew Wei, University of Wisconsin-Madison, PhD in astronomy. Andrea? Thank you. And this year's recipient the 2014-2015 HND scholarship recipients are Nancy Yang, Southwest Minnesota State University, Bachelor of Biology. Thank you, Nancy. And we have Balia Law, University of Wisconsin-Madison, and Balia isn't able to participate in this because of some other commitment. And then we have Zhong Mua, University of Wisconsin-Madison, PhD in History. And as recipients, we would like to have Zhong Mua to say a few words to represent the recipients of both the 2013-2014 as well as 2014-2015. So at this time, I'd like to welcome Zhong Mua to the stage. Zhong Mua.
Good evening. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to speak on behalf of the scholarship award recipients. I wasn't sure what to say, so I really took this seriously and I wrote some stuff down because when Bruce Tao asks you to do something, you definitely take it seriously. So I think I speak for all of us standing in the room, all of us scholarship award recipients, when I say we are extremely honored by this recognition. As students, any financial support for our education, no matter the amount, is appreciated. But more importantly, I think this award represents not only our academic achievements, but it is a belief and a sign of validation from our community, not only of who we are, but that what we do matter. And now as we celebrate 40 years of the Hmong being in the US, it is more crucial than ever to support our young Hmong Americans. And given that our community is still a young population, the possibilities are endless for incredible impact in the next 40 years to come. So I encourage everyone tonight to continue to support HND, and especially our youth, and I promise you we will show you the way to a bright future. Thank you.
Thank you, Chong Mo and Dr. Jamblong and Bao. And for more information about the HND scholarship, visit www.hnడింc.org. Mấy cho tôi chọn sai chừng nhớ tán tàu cần tàu cần tàu sang to bây giờ scholarship na cho sang cho một cần tàu go on hdinc.org for more information about the scholarship.
That was a lot to remember, Kevin. Hopefully there are some journalism majors out there too, because I would love to see more Hmong faces when I walk into a television station than just myself. So, moving on.
Right.
Next up, we want to welcome Speakers of the Sun, also known as SOS. They're a collective of Asian American activists and spoken word artists right here in the Twin Cities, focused on cultivating artistic voice and providing a space for growth. Representing Speakers of the Sun is Chili Lore and Kevin Yang. Let's give them a warm round welcome.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Kevin Yang.
And I'm Chili Lore.
And we are Speakers of the Sun, and we are both extremely excited to be performing for you folks tonight.
So, who here has heard of spoken word before?
Make some noise.
Okay,
I
awesome.
love that.
And if you came to this morning's plenary session, you would already have heard spoken word.
So me and Chili Laura are part of an organization called Speakers of the Sun. We are a spoken word Asian Pacific Islander American collective based out of the Twin Cities. Yeah, some of you folks have heard of us, which is exciting. But what we try to do is make space for folks who identify as APIA and to sort of uplift our voice as spoken word performers and create a platform for us to talk about issues that are important to our community. And Chili, did you have anything else to say about?
Nope.
For sure, so I'll be performing first and then Chili will be getting on stage. So yeah, let's do this. Cool. So I went to a workshop earlier by Paku Her of 18 Million Rising, and I was very, very inspired to hear about everything. One thing that specifically stood out to me was she talked about how to respond to the phrase, go back to where you came from. And that's very much at the heart of this poem, and very much at the heart of trying to understand what it means to be a Hmong person and trying to discover what home means. A very, very, very elusive concept. This poem is called Come Home. I hope you enjoy it. Eight responses to the phrase, go back to where you came from. 1, oh, you mean Minnesota, in which case, here I am. 2, oh, you mean where I'm really from, in which case, here I am. 3, if this is a reference to my people, then you're gonna have to be a little bit more specific. How about try and go back to St. Paul, or go back to Bangkok, go back to Ban Vinai, go back to Long Gang, go back to Siang Kwang, go back to Guizhou upon taking my advice. Also realize that you're not the first to give the command of return, to point us in the opposite direction with the barrel of a pistol. Call me Hmong before you call me American, because Hmong is the closest word I know to home. 4, do you ever ask yourself that question? Do you ever wonder where you came from? Do you find comfort in vague memories of Ellis Island? How many servings from the melting pot did it take for you to arrive this conversation? Maybe you take pride in the Mayflower. Maybe you are an original American. Do you ever ask yourself if maybe the land we stand on once belonged to someone else? Do you ever ask yourself if maybe the land had never belonged to any of us, and if instead we belong to the land? 5, in the winter of 2013, I did just that. Made the journey back to Thailand, hoping to find our villages still dotting the signs of mountains, hoping to hear Kutsia still echoing throughout the valleys. Upon entering the house of an elder, he apologizes to me. Embarrassed that his youngest son could not introduce himself to me in our language, tells me that if you want to grow up to be anything more than a farmer or a servant in this country, you must learn to leave your language behind. I want to tell this man that throughout my time here, I've never felt so close to where I come from. 6, before I ever took in my first breath, my mother tells me that I was an invisible spirit floating around the clouds, waiting for a stomach that could paint me pink. Mother tells me that death is a slow journey back, that if not done carefully, we will wander those still cursing the living, but under the watchful eyes of our loved ones, we will always know a way home. 7, for the longest time, I believed that the hummingbird did not possess a pair of feet, instead always existing in a state of mid-flight. How sad to always be at the mercy of the wind. How sad to be so close to the earth, yet own none of it. My time here has taught me how lucky a hummingbird to belong to the sky. 8, I'm going. Thank you.
Awesome, Kevin. So who here loves their elders? Let me hear some noise. Woo. I want to say that as a proud young Hmong woman, I love my elders. I love my parents. The poem that I want to share with you tonight is called Culture Borderline. It was published in the 2012 St. Paul Almanac. But the piece that I want to share with you tonight is going to be the Hmong version of it. I wrote it to honor my parents' legacy, to thank them for bringing me here to the United States when I was such a child, and to also honor my journey in America going in the future. I believe that in order to become to have prosperity in our Hmong community going forward, we need to reconnect the young folks and the elders together. Ya hai tia be sa ko be kyo Hmong mo ke ba meng na be yo chu tao mo kyo lo thia kyo lau ko lo da ka lo ko mo ke ba meng shi hậu sinh ko be te li yo cho hai tia be yo Hmong be kyo lau yo to be yo cho tia be yo Hmong. So hope that you enjoy this poem. Music. Cú tuân chú pli hun thia cú nia cú chi cú sa kho cho kể sĩ trâu rong và tàu plo mù lợ vì cho kể trái chia thiệt cho kể chỉ sinh gà chia sang gâu nọ yêu sâu kia trâu cú chi thiệt cú nia cú tàu yêu sụn sang kham thái tây ít thiết cho bố cho cháu o tàu yêu trâu hai neng mông và tàu mông lu tây khờ vì cho kể và trò và trò sa chỉ cho tia nhớ thâu cho sọ la ca yo mua ilu tế khả với mình nhớ ý sáng tu tia sĩ chỉ mua ý ya uy yo tàu đó sĩ hở môn tàu ya cho nhỏ lúc khó mua chỉ bỏ cho bông lu nọ chỉ bỏ ta kỳ thiệp bình xia mu trâu ya tòn đây sư tuột cho trâu lu tế khả chia bé ya tu khen plot cho họ America tê mong cá li kể cái bị plot ju vì tia bé chỉ tổ còn du chỉ sa cho tia yo cho plo mu cú thiết sợ tao tu cái kẹt tê ở trái sĩ hở thiết cho mong tao tu đây đã khổng cú nông tu khen đã chỉ ở mong vì cho lúa phiền chung tứ tàu bông cho lù lần đầu bao giờ sự công cho lâu thế cho lúa chỉ công xia chỉ hậu xia vì chỉ cho lò xí thả thiết sĩ kia cú số chỉ thấy mua bé chơi từ phong yêu từ mấy xia lợ lỡ tu xia tia lỡ nhà lỡ chỉ tao tao lỡ lỡ thiết chơi cho cái hư cho lâu tia si lo tê tàu bị sơ lù hai tia trả nhện cha đê mua chế nên one day cú lo từ yếu mấy xía thia sát xong đời của tu khen sư tu chỉ bỏ tia cú nhớ theo cú chỉ trao cho nên đâu nhau xí xía sai chỉ tông cỡ tia si đâu cú có ở lên nhỏ ở tu nên one day cha chân có hai lô ăn kỹ chỉ mình lòng có những mua mình mỏ ý giả lý tu nên đâu one có ở lử đâu sau ta lo cú sai cú nhẹ cho pla hậu cú bỏ xa cho pla hậu đơn gì cú thế nông tia bùi hậu tì cú pla hậu đỡ vì nhẹ nên hu nên mò khử nếu mua ít tuần chạy cần đỡ tây xia chua chí tụi giàu bị tiền nhẹ tiệt gì pla hậu đỡ vì nhẹ hu khè bé có mông lù thiết trâu sẽ cần đỡ cú nhẹ thọ có bỏ cú chỉ có chạy tệ và khử sợ ban đầu là plu của ta hậu cho sai tệ ủa tao là bố có tụi mình chạy còn nữa chỉ cho dùng chạy họ cũng chỉ thọ có ego chỉ cũng chạy có super có bỏ luôn địa tệ có buồn do là tụi chạy lo ủa có ít sự rõ chờ khi nếu có ủa sẽ được khờ cũng bảo tiền cũng tao chào là thầu cũng bảo tao tiền nếu họ chỉ cũng chạy luôn cũng tôi chỉ bảo tiền insurance theo mortgage sẽ đã chi nếu kể tiền nhà linh đạo có một cần đầu đã chi ta chỉ nó cú mà li bảo tia cú cho cái tu xia vì chỉ tao nên cho cái mỏ xia để là我知道那个户国美奈整个原住保tư老古原来cái kia tê mong thêm mấy cả tí trà tí na có chọn nung có trò bùa theo户của美奈cú tuân chụp li hôn theo cú nhẹ cú gì cú thọ có bé cái tròn trà tròn đua bé nhẹ chỉ tu là ôi ý kề. Thank you.
Absolutely very inspirational. Còn nói như họ ít khởi khá tao hà tại cho nà cho xí là yêu chủ tông tranh xa cho tú chân xài là yêu chủ tao phù nà phù xí để biết hà lệ mô khó dù kế xí tao tao bao cho trong tòn tên nó là phải. So next we are going to the presentation of the Impact Awards. These are the awards that you all voted on. And without further ado, we would like to welcome Kendra Tao to the stage to present on the first awardee. Kendra Tao. Mai, are you in the room?
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. Thank you. Tonight, I have the honor of introducing one of our upcoming movers and shakers within our communities. So I want you to pay attention tonight, okay? So I have the honor of introducing Tia Gauzabamo tonight. And something interesting that I found out about him earlier is that he has a very unique problem, something that you and I do not have. And his problem is that his Facebook friend is full, so he is no longer accepting Facebook friends. So I tried, and he told me that he'll delete some friends to make room for me. So as of right now, his Facebook friend is full, but I just thought that was interesting. Va is one of the first and few Hmong male fashion designers. His passion and vision for fashion has brought youth and elders together. Va created two Hmong-inspired clothing lines titled Moa and Moatia Clothing Company. In addition to his clothing lines, he is a co-founder of Revived Fashion Show, a Central California-based platform for inspiring Hmong fashion designers, models, and makeup artists and photographers. Va strives to keep the richness of the Hmong culture alive through the arts. Va's artwork incorporates and honors bold Hmong textiles and symbols into a simple visual form that speaks to Hmong American youth, but is still identifiable to Hmong elders. Va's visual movement is the definition of honoring and promoting the richness of the Hmong culture and heritage through the arts to inspire future generations. Please join me in welcoming Va Tia Gauzabamo as our first Impact Awardee tonight.
She lưu theo bao she công tệ lỡ theo lý ô tàu ít có event lý HND nói mua ít phá tàu lên bây giờ mong tua công của game on nó chỉ ta lấy tôi cũng sai ô châu tôi Stephanie Ji Shong. Nye Tuneng is very special to me. New Yakuko motivation and inspiration. Thank you to ba cho honorary the tao nhớ được của bây giờ lúc trong cho những impact award đó. Thank you. I'm very very honored to be sitting in the table with you guys. Li là hai cô là giờ tu lúa tên đua xí lọ này lúc cũ thế này ba thơ cũ cũng thế này tao tôi mình sau đó nó tôi cũng mò nó thế này cô sai ô châu thế này có award nó mà giờ tôi tận thơ cũ cho thơ tao cũ lọ tao trong chỉ a couple of years là này thơ cũ for many years for what I've been doing, and so this award is for you guys, and Ocho Tane continue to support Kutia, my journey into the fashion industry. The fashion industry. Ocho.
It's like Mike Roulette up here. All right. Next up to present our award to our second winner is Dr. Jean Blanc again. He'll be presenting award to Dr. Pahua Yang, and there was just a fascinating article written about her in the Pioneer Press. If you get a chance to check that out, I highly suggest you do. These awards mean a lot to the folks that will be coming up here, so we ask that you lower your voices so we can hear their speeches and their stories and how they got here. So welcome to the stage again, Dr. Long.
Cô bao hay thì bây giờ nó mò nữa giờ sẽ đợi tua sẽ giờ cần cầu thì bây giờ sẽ thả cần cầu cô tao cần nữa thì sẽ lúc sẽ hỏi nó giờ lúc sẽ hỏi chạy trên cần cầu cho phong dư một đôi cho nọ cho chứ một đôi cho mình tôi mình nhỏ nên sẽ đợi tôi còn bây giờ họ nó chỉ cô tháo ra gì anh này họ tì làm nông bây hai lục thì nó theo cho họ thì bây mua liệu ốp bùa tại phá lên như tới chợ Mỹ Cả nó xong nó bây giờ họ xài tàu chi tù cho nó cho hòa là cho nó cho hậu nhau họ bây giờ này bây giờ hay thì lúc xưa họ này lúc xưa họ chỉ chơi hay bây giờ là recognize cho nó còn này cho nhau họ bây lúc còn trồng nó còn này bao hay thì cho nó giờ lên từ xí nó lại to bây mua bây họ cái rong xe nó trâu lời thì còn này với mình xí lời nữa cho họ thì lời giờ cho nó cho hòa giờ cho bao cho cái America sát cái trái to cho bao cho mong sát cái trái to nó hay cho nó giờ cho bên này không sửa bây giờ hay có sát cái này xí lại thế cái này họ nó mò thế thì sẽ họ đi là lòng bé thì nó theo cháu nữa mà. So good evening again, and it's a great honor as chair of HND to present this year's Impact Award to our second winner, and all the 5 winners, all of them actually have equal criteria and score. So we're actually just trying to present each on a roll, so no one actually above the other. And these individuals, in particular this one, has done a remarkable differences in the community. And I just want to take a few minutes to help you understand the Impact Award. The Impact Award was inaugurated in 2013 by HND, and particularly our young staff, again, Bruce Tao, who actually spearheading this Impact Award, to recognize and honor our leaders and our emerging leaders in our community who have made such a tremendous impact and influences in our community, in particularly in the area of innovation, mentorship, integrity, advocacy, culture, and transcendent systemic barriers. So all of these leaders have been assessed under these specific topics. And out of their assessment, our second winner is this wonderful young emerging leaders. So I'm very proud to say that this year's second Impact Award winner is my former doctoral advisee from the University of Minnesota, and a local leader in the field of community mental health, and particularly as it relates to innovative approaches to early career mental health professionals who will be working with the Hmong American community. As the director of community mental health at the Wilder Foundation, she is responsible for the oversight of mental health services in the community, including children, families, and adults, most of whom are refugees and immigrants from Hmong American and Southeast Asian American communities. She also, as part of her job, she also directs one of the field Hmong Mental Health Institute and serves on several national, state, and local advisory board and committee in regarding to health disparity and mental health. So ladies and gentlemen, please help me acknowledge this year's second Impact Award winner, Dr. Pahua Yang. Do I have Dr. Pahua Yang in the audience?
Good evening, everyone. I am truly humbled by this award. For those of you who know me, you know a little secret about me, and that's that I'm actually not on Facebook, so I totally missed this rich conversation, but I now have a Facebook account. First, I want to thank everyone who has supported me through my life and my career. We are all who we are because of the people who have touched our lives and have been part of our journey in different ways. And I've been really lucky that I've had a lot of people who have been part of my journey and who have helped mitigate some of those hard things that just happen when, you know, you're a person and you're trying to become an adult. And of course, two of those people are my parents. They're not here tonight because they're good Hmong people and they went to a funeral. But my parents, Yesu, and Yesu have been the most amazing, incredible parents to me. And they taught me early on. My dad told me very early on, if you're gonna help Hmong people, you have to help Hmong people with your entire heart and soul. And I've never forgotten that, and that has always served me well. And my mom taught me early on the gift of reading. My mom didn't have a formal education, and she taught herself how to read and write in English and in Hmong. And growing up, she always had a book in her hands, and she taught me that value of education. Other people, my husband is here tonight, James, who doesn't mind being married to a therapist and who has supported me in my entire career. I also have some people that I have to thank. So of course, Dr. Jamblon, who allowed me to railroad him into being on my committee, and who had some very, very hard conversations with me and made me all the better. And he doesn't know this, but getting my dissertation done and getting my degree meant less to me than the day that I met him in the Lau family parking lot so that he could sign off on my final dissertation. And he told me that he was so proud of me, and that meant more to me than, you know, anything else that came after that. When I was in high school, I had a teacher, my advanced placement teacher, who scheduled meetings with us. And my teacher said to me, she knows that Hmong girls like to get married early, and so she didn't think that I should waste my time applying to college or thinking about college because I would just waste my parents' money. And as a young person, that completely crumbled all of my hopes and dreams. Not long after that, I had a French teacher who came up to me and said he wanted me to apply to go study abroad. And when I said to him, I didn't think that I was smart enough or good enough to do that, he looked stunned and he said to me, "You're my best student and I totally know that you can do this." And with that 5-minute conversation, he completely changed the trajectory of my life. Now, I now realize that he probably said that to everybody in his class, but for me, it really made a difference. And I'd like to tell this story because I think it demonstrates the power that we all have to both pull someone down as well as to prop someone up, especially our children and especially the most vulnerable people in our community. And I do feel like I have the best job in the whole wide world because in my job, although I see a lot of really painful things every single day, I also get to see the most amazing resilience and hope that are innate to all of us as human beings. And what I would like to say is if you are a person who has been told that you can't do something or that you're not good enough for something, find people who support you and who will help you get to that next level. And finally, and if you don't have someone, call me at the Wilder Foundation. I will be that person for you. So, I want to thank the Hmong National Development and all of you. This award means very, very much to me because it comes from all of you. And you have my promise that this will serve to me as a reminder that when I serve us, I serve with my entire heart and soul, and I will continue to do that. Thank you very much.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Pa Hua Yang. And I'm actually going to pause for a moment to apologize in advance, but can we, I'm actually going to stop right now and ask everyone to keep quiet. These are change makers in our community, and we want the respect for these people as much as possible. So I ask that you lower your voice as much as possible. And I'm not going to start until it quiets down in here. Thank you so much. Next, we have presenter Sing Dao Ku.
Tonight, I am honored to present to you the third Impact Award winner. It is Dr. Jennifer Gu. She is a public health advocate, educator, and researcher. Her research focuses on cervical, colon, and breast cancer control and prevention within the refugee and immigrant populations, particularly with the Hmong. She served as co-investigator on a National Cancer Institute funded study that examined the role of Hmong patriarchal and family influences on women's breast and cervical cancer screening in Oregon. She's also focused her entire career on achieving health equity and promoting health and wellness, especially among those vulnerable populations. She's committed to developing a focus in global health research and extending the impact of her work to underserved women in developing countries such as Ethiopia and India. Her research and community engagement helps bring a better understanding of Hmong women and their health behaviors and cancer screening practices, and it contributes to critical gaps in research literature, which has a high potential for impact on the Hmong and other ethnic minority communities in the US and abroad. Today, she brings with her her husband, George Pomeroy. Can you wave so everybody knows who you are too? And she has 2 lovely children, Finn and Stella. When I asked her advice that she could give to the younger generation, it was very beautiful. She said, go out and find a great mentor. And perseverance is really, really important. She shares this as a woman who's made it in a field where very few of us have made it before. So I'd love for you to join me in welcoming our next Impact winner, Dr. Jennifer Gu.
Well, now it's so quiet. Well, it is an absolute honor to be here with all of you today. I'd just like to thank HND and everyone who voted for me in this process. It is also an honor to be amongst all these wonderful, fantastic recipients of this award. There are so many deserving people in our community, and I'm just so blessed to be a part of this. I'd also like to thank my colleague and sister friend, Janice Chang, who is back in Oregon, who recognized me and nominated me for this award. And of course, I want to thank my amazing and supportive life partner, George, who has stood by me throughout my entire academic career. I don't think he's ever known me, and I wasn't a student in these past 16 years that we've been married. I have had the privilege of working with refugee and immigrant populations all my life. At the age of 5, when I could speak English, I was translating and working with, family and parents to help them get adjusted to life in the U.S. And that's a lot to ask of a child. So when people ask me, how long have you been doing this work? It really has been nearly all my life. And as many of you know, the refugee story it's all different. We all have different stories of struggle and sacrifice. But if there is a thread throughout all of our stories, it is that we are resilient and that we have an indomitable spirit that cannot be broken, right? It's truly amazing that we are here today, 40 years after the Hmong diaspora, sharing our stories of success and of family and community. Who would have thought that a little refugee girl like myself would ever get this far in life? And it's amazing to be here in Minnesota because I just love seeing all of the work that you guys do here and the impact that the Hmong community has at the national and international level. Back home in Columbus, Ohio, there's like 2 Hmong people, me and my 2 kids, and they're half each, so they make 1 person. But it's so great to be here, to be amongst all of you, and just to be part of this community. But I know that I stand on the shoulders of so many amazing women and men that have come before me, and I'm just so grateful that they have been able to pave this way for not just people like myself, but future generations to come. So thank you again for this recognition.
presenting our 4th award of the night is Mo Chang. She will be presenting an award to a man that I'm sure has either performed at your school or at your employer that we all know very well. So welcome to the stage, Mo Chang.
Good evening. It is an honor and pleasure for me to be here tonight to present the 4th HND Impact Award to my good friend and colleague, Thuger Bennett Xiong, who I've known for 18 years. Thuger has successfully blended traditional Hmong oral history, folklore, and cultural tradition with hip-hop, rap, comedy, and theater to develop new ways of telling the Hmong American stories. Thuger worked as a Hmong artist, educators, activist, and has been featured on national television, radio, and newspaper. A documentary rap video of Thuger's project titled Hmong Means Free is currently airing on public television now. In addition to his profession as an entertainer and educator, Thuger devotes a great deal of his time and energy in politics, community organizing, and social justice issues. And you have seen some of the latest work that Thuger has done in our community to fight for justice. Thuger currently spends about 20 hours, half of his time, per week at a Hmong language and culture charter school, the Community School of Excellence, to mentor Hmong students and Korean students. He also conducts cultural diversity training for staff and leadership activity for students and parents. Just as important as Thuger's work about instilling cultural pride among Hmong youth is his work to promote pride and appreciation for all culture and all community. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present to you the 4th HND Impact Award to my good friend, the most amazing, only Hmong comedian in the nation, Thuger Bennett Xiong.
Yes, thank you, Mo. Thank you. Thank you, Mo, for this nomination. If the video guys in the back, if you can zoom in on my name tag, I'm wearing my mother's name tag, because when I registered for the dinner, they asked her, where does she work? What's her degree? Which university did she go to, or whether she retired? And I put on there, Super Hmong Moms, Inc. Sao Lu Vu. Why? Ever since I was little, my mother told me, "Benny, Bitsy, look at them. Don't you know? Nia bu cha, chimbo chui bu bla. Nia bu cha, chimbo chui bu bla." Translation for the young folks who don't understand the metaphor and the beauty of that quote. All the money in the world cannot replace the ideas, and I might even add the passion in your belly. And the essence of that quote goes to, in terms of I'll share 2 quick stories and then I'll get off the stage. But my father, who's passed away, when I was little, they share certain stories. They're the greatest storyteller I know. I was in 4th grade. Dad said, "Tunza, Saturday, get up early, 8 o'clock. Where are we going, Dad?" I'm like, 12. I'm like, what? I'm like 13. I can't work. You're going to help me out. He took me to Lake Calhoun where all the rich people had $1 million mansions. He was cutting grass. That day he needed extra help. So I showed up, and I'm helping my dad. And this lady sat by the porch. "Hi, Tia. Today I want you to move these big octagon cement blocks this thick, about this big. Move that patio, or need to move it over here." My dad, yeah. He dug in the dirt. He didn't have gloves. He dug in the dirt. He started moving them. I helped him. After about 15 minutes, I said, Dad, Dad, my dad said, he kept working. He didn't even use gloves. His hands were dirty. He was wiping his face. It was the hot sun. And I got, man, I started getting mad. I was like, Dad, you're working so hard. And he brought all the octagon cement blocks. They were pretty heavy, moved it across her yard. And she came back out later, and she said, oh, see, I forgot to tell you. You have to dig the dirt up. Take out the dirt first so that when you put it on the grass in the patio, there's about 30 of these blocks, so it's level with the grass. My dad said, oh, no problem. My dad started digging, and something lit a fire in my belly that day. I was mad and angry, not at the lady, because I was so angry that day. I said, Dad, wow. In Laos, you were promoted to captain in the military. You fought for the CIA at age 14. You risked everything. And here, you work so proud for $4.50 an hour. And my dad, on the way home, he said, Tumza, I was crying. He said, Tumza, cô cho cái tua, cậu khóc bò hay để biết tôi cần đâu cần thở. Biết thấu ấy nó. Có cho một xã xứ. You go think about what we did today. I did what I did because I never had the chance for an education. So I brought you so you can know what it's like. So I share that story because for every storyteller in our culture, in our families, whether it's a grandma, mom, uncle. I'm sorry, I'm a comedian. I should be telling you jokes, but that's not today. But for every person, our parents, my mother doesn't have a PhD, but the wisdom that she has, you can't not measure. It can't be measured by degree. And briefly, so this is to all the storytellers in our families. I say, what y'all, ne y'all when you see ne be ne y'all done neng, ne pe don't do pe lo te pe hao ne, pe me nang su, pe cho go. Ne lu zien ji, pe a po ji tao. Thank you, parents. I want to thank my mom, she's here, my sisters. And you know, I dedicate this also to my nieces who are here. Kajua, Michaela, Kajong, you guys are in high school. Please light that fire in your belly. And thanks my mother-in-law, Mr. Dad and Mom, Verlaine, my mother-in-law, father-in-law, and then also lastly to my beautiful wife. Thank you for your support and for being that fire in my belly. So, thank you.
Tan cho cho PhD nhớ hồ lum la tên nộp báo chỉ tao yu na yu chỉ cho cái lưu tạt na, okay. So ladies and gentlemen, Tu Jer Hyung. And the presenter for the last but not least Impact Award is Paul Lowe.
What an honor it is for me to present this last award to one I think those of you who live in the Twin Cities know well. The description for him is a living bridge. I think that translates to Cha and Motsashie. I think you will understand a little bit as I read his description why maybe that's an appropriate description for him. This gentleman, he is known well among those of you who are youth, scholars, politicians, and elders in the Hmong community. He has been here in the Twin Cities since 1990, but he originally came to France in 1976. But in 1990, he moved his wife and children to the St. Paul area from France in search for hope and a better future. With no English skills, no job lead, and limited educational background, he took on a custodial day job at a local church and spent his evenings in English classes to earn his GED. He not only earned his GED, he went on to earn his bachelor's degree in business administration. He then went on to serve the community for the last 20 years. And those of you who know this gentleman, I asked him what his passion is, and he said, you know, I don't fish, I don't hunt, I don't play sports. I asked him, what's your favorite TV show? Well, I don't have a favorite TV show. I said, what do you like to do? My favorite passion is I like to serve people, and I dedicated my life serving people. So this person, you probably know him well, but one thing that makes him a living bridge, and I think with all the Hmong men bashing this morning, this guy is the exception. He is not the stereotypical male man, okay, in his household. He cooked, he ironed clothes, he hugged his kids, showered his children with love, and he has 4 grown children, 9 grandchildren, which he also helped take care of. And so as a living bridge, you know Ted, by the way, his favorite dish, which he cooks for his family and which he loves, is rau chua, let's see, rau chua, rau chua. It's my pleasure to present this award to Ted Nyetua Ta, and his contribution to the St. Paul community, to his families as an example for us guys. Please help me congratulate Ted Nyetua Ta. Ted, congratulations.
Ok. Cú giờ tụi lâu chăng. Ha cú giờ tụi lùa ca thì mẹ bố cú hẳn thế ra nè, ok? Nhớ rằng trong đủ mẹ suốt lời. Vấn đề trong lời cú thó mỗi lúc sáng nó ở cháu cho tụi thời chư lưu cộng hù HND bao vàng tặng trò cho tu trạng sử là cho board member dù cho tu lead lên nụ cho staff cứ nhau hú hẹp hai nhau hú HND ở cháu cho mẹ tụi kế bang ở cháu cho mẹ lúc làng lúc dù lúc sĩ hậu cứ mẹ tao mua khó program là mua tụi kế sĩ từ dùng lên nó em vào nó bé mua chi tu sát tao lúc sợ thì nó cho mẹ chút lời giữa con đó thọ ô trâu cho nà giữa cái tin anh trang để phong tê dư cho tu lộn sai lùa cứ mẹ chẳng cho bên nà bên giữa lúc này tóm đề số tu cứ mẹ tôi nhau lúc tổ chế nó tu cơ cứ yếu ô trâu do tuôn sai lúc bé hùa xua gì yang nơi do tu cứ bố của lúc bé trò cho chú kế sư từ em mà nó cũng thà tàu lù sợ con nó ôn đi cháu Thank you. Bé ô tôi này nhỏ bé giờ nông nền để bé chúa tù vậy mua cái thơ một cái rồng một cái phê một cái xí lưu xí chúa tôi dạng cầu ta chỉ vì lý cha cha mẹ cha một cú trò cho lúc bé hả ta living bridge giờ ấy tụi cho gia xa lại người ta cứ phao hạt đấy họ cú thọ mẹ ta mẹ bố cú hành để rồi vì ta cú yo hạ ở bên dạng cho mẹ chỉ ở lặng một trò luôn bé sư ta chỉ mua tranh bé ở này nhỏ bé yên mua cái băng luôn đời lười tù chỉ ởอยู่ไหนอยู่ซื่อta chỉ mua để tôi này lưuอยู่เช่งอยู่หมออยู่ยังปังอยู่อีกอย่างเลยอยู่ไหนอยู่จื้อ上一盘就播照旧bé cú chuyện ấy từ miền tu cú tông chạy cú nào cú dư vì bé giờ ít trẻ mông cú giờ ít từ tu mông nho to xa yếu tôi mà cần đỡ yếu tôi xí cái tờ mà ăn nô kê cha chủ khó chờ cần đỡ mẹ gì bao lời chủ kế lúc này muốn chú ý gì tôi này lừa ý từ tôi này ý lúc cổng hủ nhót lên để dùng này dùng gì dù yên giờ một ôi khó kế nhót xa kế sơ sinh cho chế tôi này đâu kế khó nói giờ ý khó ôi lên mấy cả hà very impact của lúc này giữ khó đó xong ý phán cho bùa sang chậu bao lúc chạy đó cũng chẳng cần đó nhá thì lọt tê hữu luôn trong viên chặn do xong cũng có tao một internship anh phát kỳ hùa stage thì cũng có trâu một lết lê hẹn vì cũng có mong cũng có lọt thì chỉ chân chẳng dễ thì chỉ trâu nhé anh tao thì lúc trẻ cần đó cho financial aid lúa bộ bang tàu ta chỉ cú giờ mong thì tàu một cái lê sa tàu cởi tàu cho nụ cứ phi ta dù giờ ít tu mong dù giờ một bang mong nhá bị tao xa lúc trên đó cũng một chú mong ở một tí lao chữ đầu yang là giờ doctor yang đầu cú sáng thọ mẹ bộ tệ uốn đi châu điều yang đầu các bạn sợ bên bộ tệ cho con tỏ căng được chính đề lúc tê lúc chờ yên bông lời ta bên sát tàu chỉ tê chờ làng tê nắm khổng tôi nhớ thay tê lúc trên được cú yên chỉ lùa là cú tôi muốn nền gạo on nền gạo bê hiong đó chỉ cú chỉ tao một gạo bù chỉ chuyện giờ lúc trên yêu chuyện hồng hồ sa sáng bang tên nọ tên chữ cho nó cho ủa lũ sùn bang khàn tới phan kỳ rồi cho tu luận giải luận nhau sùn họ sáng họ tại giờ yêu một lưỡi tết chờ tết rồi yêu tàu trả cũng mua pu mua xe mua tù nhon để yêu ý sang để coi dùng lên tù tôi này mua ở chạy tệ yêu một ô lan chỉ yêu sao ô tàu để cũng trả chỉ xa yêu có pu cú mua mong yếu tao ít tuần xài mong cứ giờ tụ cú lưu từ cứ tao tao cú từ cứ dùng xa lụt thành tí thái tê kế ổn định dù cú ở tụ cho dùng lấy cái cú lúm bè đã bridge chỗ ít lúc này tuần tới giờ xỏ vàng bé ổn định nhỏ yên chỉ ở ít tụ sư chạy ở bang nhiều một trong lên đầu tụ chỉ ở cứ ở tì chỉ ở này ở trắng chỉ ở chân ở dễ ta chỉ bé ở mông để bé yên chỉ bang tàu chỉ ở tụ lâu tụ lùa cú chế cú tuần này ư anh à chỉ mong cho phan kỳ tê ư chỉ tàu một mình nhỏ mà mới yêu bao từ mình nhỏ nhau phán kỳ tê cầu chỉ lúc xong đỏ căng chỉ lúc cho America thầu lúc cho America là cú tu mua bé chào chúa xong tu yếu dễ bao chào xong cú mà siêu mua cởi lúc America ô liệp tăng cứ跑tu hà là một cởi yếu chỉ đi là nhà đâu high school lúc chạy đó là cú yên mới tu này khu thế ra mà nó được yên nhau hú nó giờ này khu chủ trang cứ mà trang tụi cái gì sư huyết chủ các bạn nhau nó tháo cái sợ thêm bộ tệ cho cả khó cú hà nó chỉ ở làng bé ổn định nhau bé lại áo vua tại impactยิ่งchỉ ở impact với làng nữa nhau tàng hữu lúc community chỉ tàng hữu hai mong sư chỉ mua tê yêu tê này khuจะยออเมริกาจะยอมบลอจะยอฟังกีหล่อโป้ยิงเอ็นแพบอยู่รุ่นหนึ่งเช่าอยู่ขาอยู่โคอยู่ก็อยู่อตัวหนึ่งยงคอนเดอร์ยอขอกุสางตาจียอเปอตัวหนึ่งเลยเปยิงมัวยอตัวหนึ่งลู่อยู่ยอปนยีอยู่กูหายคอนจื้อจอเปจอตู้จอนใส่หลัวมาเนาะลูๆเนี่ยกูฝากตัวแม่เปยอตัวหนึ่งจีหาตู้จีหาชายจีหาตัวเหล้าจีหาตัวหลัวเปชัวตู้ยิ่งเอาอีไหลจ่าเย่จานดงเดินดอกเขาเปเอาอีตัวช่อนตัวเปวิตัวช่อนเดอจีหา有时做หรือตัวเต่าmuốn đầu lúc chạy nhiều dân là tụi tàu tụi chọn nữa muốn trả cái băng trả cái lưu đợi cái giờ cái diện là lì tụ muốn đầu ra tụi chọn đó giờ yêu on à chứ là giờ yêu tụi khen giờ tàu của tụi chọn tổ lại dàn đồng rồi lì lên để tụi tàu một làng dê làng trắng làng tê hàng rong hàng chùa một xí chùaไอ้กูท้อขวไม่จะลัวจะตู้จะใส่ลัววิตาลูจงชาลังต่ออ้อนนู้นอกูปู่แต่จะลัวอย่าจะจงช่างเยเลยยี่จะไปเซ็นกูเจงหาแต่ไม่จะตัวลูตัวเจนู้นออย่าจะโยว่าเป็นหนาเป็นจื้ออยู่จ่อเป้หมออีจวดตอนเด็กตาvì mẹ bao chú kế ổn định mẹ bao hạt ra ổn định nhau kế chân chế là ý dạng ta chỉ kế ship bang như cô là ý dạng nhauอยู่luôn này cô tháo pha lên nó cho mẹ cho tuôn sao rồi lúa cứ mà nó nhau lúc rồi chế nó cô tháo mẹ sợ tới trâu
Check. There we go.
Okay. Well, just a quick summary. Ted Nyet Tua Ta was an orphan, grew up as an orphan, and found inspiration in Dr. Yang Dao. Got married to Saul Vang here in the United States, moved to France. He didn't learn English until he was 39 years old, and went on to receive his GED and a master's degree in business administration. So ladies and gentlemen, Ted Nyet Tua Ta. And before we move the program forward, if I could ask all the award recipients and the board members to step to my right for a photo op opportunity. Take a lot of selfies and do all that. Put it on Facebook, tag me.
Hashtag HNDC2015.
There you go.
While all of our honorees are lining up for the photos here, I just wanted to say Ted has the kindest eyes. Did you notice that? And the sweetest smile. So if you guys, especially young folks, get a chance to say hello to him, make sure you do that. So we'll give them a moment to arrange themselves some way, somehow. This is always like taking family photos. Takes forever. We're slowly getting there. You're doing a nice job. I think Kevin should get an award for best co-MC.
Well, a
you keep me
nominee
going.
for, and what is it? What is it that you were nominated for?
Well, I wish.
No. An Emmy Award, right?
But it's not as big as like a co-MC, because you keep, seriously guys, you have to keep the show moving.
Absolutely.
And here you are, by my side. So folks are gathering over here. What's been your favorite part about the conference? I know you've been living in this hotel.
Yeah, for the last 3 days, but I think it's just getting everyone together and being in a space of powerful people is great.
Like me.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
Like and me.
And Kevin has been working his butt off, and the entire staff at TAP has been. What's that been like?
It's been crazy, but I'm ready for my massage after this, so.
Do I get one for putting up with you?
You were going to give me one.
Awesome.
Alrighty, we'll go ahead and get started.
Are we moving on to the next group?
Moving on.
Okay. While they're taking photos, let's welcome our next performers, the Hmong Ki'ia group. They are a group of young dancers who, under the guidance of Annie, Brenda, and Jennifer, have been dancing for 2 years. They range in ages from 5 to 10 years old, and their dance today is about an issue that matters to all of us here in this room, equality for women. Let's welcome our dancers. Oh, they're so cute. Check, check. Here we go. I feel like I have to do this every time. Okay, so they were seriously the cutest act ever. I think the entire night, this is the group that has made so many people pull out their cell phones and take pictures. So I think they win the cuteness award. We are excited to introduce our keynote speaker this evening. He was recently named by the Minneapolis-St. Paul Business Journal as a top 40 under 40 honoree for his community leadership. Dai Tao represents Ward 1 for the St. Paul City Council. He is a husband, a father, and an Eagle Scout. And if you've been to the Hmong exhibit at the Minnesota History Center, his outfit's actually in there from his Eagle Scout days. He's been working as a community organizer and in technology for more than 12 years. Prior to his election, he was the Northeast Region Organizer for Isaiah, National Week-Long Leadership Trainer, and a mentor with Take Action Minnesota. He also served on the Take Action Minnesota Political Action Committee.
He currently serves as the Information Technology Manager for the Greater Minneapolis Crisis Nursery. He also serves on the boards of the St. Paul Library, the St. Paul Housing and Redevelopment Authority Board, Twin City Land Bank Board, the Family Housing Fund, and the St. Paul Port Authority. Dai is a keynote speaker and an organizational leadership and communication consultant. He is a recipient of the Loft Mentor Series for creative writing and poetry, and a contributing writer for the Hmong Times. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Dai Tao.
Nếp nó của ok ở trong này bếm lòng trong lấy cho có lúc xưa chỉ tỏ bé là thank you MC for your generous introduction. Thank you far and near, and thank you to our distinguished guests for joining us tonight. Let's have another round of applause for our Impact awardee this year. Maybe 5 of you out there will be our next recipients. And thank you, HND Chairman Dr. Jean Blong-Jong, HND President Ms. Bao Vang, and the selection committee for inviting me to keynote your historic conference. I'm honored to be here tonight. Thank you to our Hmong veterans, elders, and past leaders who gave their all so that we can live. We are forever in debt to your leadership, courage, and sacrifice. Thank you to our Hmong ancestor who thousands of years ago instilled in us the love of freedom, liberty, and justice. Like some of you, I was born in the jungle of Laos 1 month after the fall of Long Giang in 1975. My father, Neng Chut, had joined the military when he was 14. My mother's brother, Lu Yang, otherwise known as Lucky, was a young officer working with the CIA agent, Jerry Daniels, in Long Giang. Our family eventually escaped communist persecution to Thailand. 2 of my sisters, Ba and Thia, and my younger brother, Sanu, died along the way. Between the age of 5 and 6, we made it to Bavinai refugee camp. We were barbed wire, and like the Hmong people, were some kind of animals. The Thai guards were corrupt and notorious. Hmong women were raped. Hmong people were robbed and beaten at will. Almost everyone I knew in the refugee camp grew up poor. One day, a giant grasshopper trespassed into the refugee camp, and a dozen of us chased it down. Grasshopper roasting over a fire was a real treat. I remember following the big people at the market, hoping they would throw away their bones so that I could have a meal. And you have to do it carefully so not to get caught, so not to shame your family. In 1983, my family came to Minnesota. I was 8 years old. I grew up poor in the public housing in North Minneapolis. My mother and I would take the number 9 bus to the free store near Lake Street because everything in the free store was free, and that's all we could afford. Then during my middle school year, my father went back to join General Vinh Pao's resistance in Laos. In 1983, we found out my father had been killed. My father was not alone. There are many fathers who abandoned their family and American dream for the Hmong dream of a Hmong country. Growing up without my father during those formative years were very difficult for me. The temptation of gang and using violence as a means to protect Hmong people from discrimination and bullying was always present. Since grade school, I knew I wasn't white or black, but I didn't know how to be Hmong either, or what was Hmong. We didn't have the internet, and there weren't a lot of resources about Hmong. During my junior year in high school, I happened to stumble upon my uncle's copy of Jane Hamilton's book, Tragic Mountain. I couldn't put the book down. The more I read, the more it dawned on me the struggle of my people, where we came from, how we got to the United States, and I burst into tears. Some pages I had to read again, slowly, so that my spirit could catch up with my emotion. In that moment, the refugee camp makes sense. Why my father left to fight for General Vinh Pao makes sense. Above all, a feeling that the Hmong people also belong in this world rushed through me. Being Hmong was suddenly cool and special. Each and every one of you in this room is special. For some of you, this is your first HND conference. Some of you have been down this road before. Regardless, this year, a power beyond your eyes and ears, deep in your heart, was calling you to come. No matter the expense, no matter how far you travel, you needed to be here. Think about the fact that in order for you to be here, your ancestor had to fight the Chinese, lost to the Chinese, but somehow survived oppression, famine, and illness. Somehow they migrated into Laos, were oppressed by the lowland Laos, the French, and the communists. And while all this was happening in the middle of war, your grandparents had your parents. Somehow your parents met each other, fell in love, got married, and have you. This is mostly true for people like me who were born in Laos. Whether you are born in Laos or in the United States or in Thailand, it doesn't change the fact that you are special. You are made of love. You are worthy of love. You are the very best your ancestor has to offer this world. You are the results of millions of survival instinctive decisions made by your ancestor. Their hope and determination gave you life. You are the host of your ancestors' undying spirit for justice and liberty. You carry your ancestors' hope and dream on your back. It is a heavy load collected over thousands of years of bloody tears, oppressions, and disappointment. But remember this, my friends. Yes, it is true. You are the results of millions of decisions, actions, and reactions by our ancestors and leaders to reach to this point. However, it is among belief that each Hmong person has a paper. When a Hmong person dies, we say his or her paper has ended. When a Hmong person escapes a burning building, we say he or she, his or her paper has not ended. In simple terms, the paper is like a contract or agreement. Of all things, encompass your entire human experience you made with your Creator before your spirits were born Hmong. Which would mean that we choose to be Hmong. Our parents might have created the opportunity for us to be received into this world, but we choose to be Hmong prior to our delivery. Given this context, we did not choose to be born white or privileged. We did not choose to be born Korean or Chinese. We choose to be born Hmong because we wanted to experience the struggle of achieving liberty and justice for all. We are Hmong because we wanted to know what it's like to be the underdogs. We wanted to know what it's like to fight like there's no tomorrow just to have a meal. Since the basement of time, the Hmong people were born with a fierce desire for liberty and justice. That relentless desire has been passed on from our elders to our parents, and now from our parents to us, and our children and their children will carry on. So as the bricks of history were laid upon this earth, it was just a matter of time before the Hmong and the United States became brothers in the unified struggle for liberty and justice in the jungle of Laos 55 years ago. Today, we are the living symbol of that struggle and the promise of our brotherhood and the undying commitment we made to each other on those battlefields. Our motivation for justice and dignity are ideas from the soul to honor the spirits of those who gave their lives so that we can live. For the price of freedom is death. We survive because so many others gave their life for us. Tonight, destiny brought you here so that you can be one with each other. Because each and every one of you has a role to play in co-creating our future together in this country. What have we achieved in the last 40 years? 40 years we've been in the United States. 40 years the Hmong people have fought every inch to be at the table. 40 years the Hmong people climbed mountains of poverty and discrimination and government secret to tell our story. What have we achieved? We got in the game. We contributed to the U.S. economy. We serve in the armed forces. We are in American politics, and we have economic success. We are playing the game. As in football, we are no longer on the sideline, but we are in the field of play. The question before us is, what can we accomplish in the next 40 years? The next 40 years is what I call making the rules of the game. In this context, the game is the American experiment. And so who makes the rules in the United States? The rules of public policy that govern our country. Who makes those rules? Elected officials make those rules. Currently, our country is being influenced by big corporations like banking and energy industry with deep pockets. What about the average American? How do we change the rules? How do we make those rules? This is our country now. We must step up and take responsibility of protecting this country and co-creating its future. So how are we going to change public policy to benefit us? What must we do? We need to build power. The word power means the ability to act, and government, the ability to make or change public policy to benefit the people. We built power by organizing people, organizing money, and organizing ideas. I don't have time to go into a lot of detail, but HND Conference is organizing people, organizing ideas, and organizing money. Organizing money. Here are some tools I want to cover. The first one is issue cut. Issue cut is when we are coming together in our community to organize people, organize money to solve the ideas, to solve the issues. One of the issues that we should always avoid are issues that further divide our community, like Hmong organization fighting each other. Organizing money. How to find hard money and soft money is essential in our movement. Next is electoral organizing. It is a tool we use to get candidates we want in office who share our same values and will fight for the rules and policy that we want. It is also when incumbents are not on our side of the people, are not on our side and the side of the people, that we must prepare ourselves and someone that care about us to take office. Lastly, leadership development. I'm currently running for re-election to the St. Paul City Council. In my campaign and all the community organizing my team has done, it is our core principle that the measure of a leader depends on how many quality leaders he or she develop. We hope to partner with HND in the near future to bring these tools so that Hmong Americans across this country can build power in their community. Where are we now? We know how far we've come the last 40 years. We now have an idea of the kind of change agent we can become in the future for our country. We are here in that gap. We are in a defining moment in Hmong American history. We are in a transition of renewed pride and tension, of conflict and self-reflection. If you want to raise fish in a pond, you must first get rid of the otters. If you want to raise sheep in the field, you must first get rid of the wolves. If the Hmong people are to thrive the next 40 years, we must get rid of sexism, clan conflict, and old traditional ways that hinder our progress. My friends, in this conference, you have identified problems such as equality, education gap, high poverty rate. These problems are not rooted in the Hmong community, but by the policymakers that hurt all Americans. There are policies that says only some people are deserving. Some people should have and some people should have not. Policy that says we should pay more taxes even though we make less than those who are rich. Even though we are taxed, we aren't even getting our fair share. We may plant the rice field in the spring, but during the harvest season, we don't get our fair share. We must change this now so that our children's children can thrive in America. We Hmong are 5,000 years old. We are strong, we are hardworking, and we are courageous. Tonight, destiny brought you here to renew your commitment to our ancestors' hope of liberty and justice for all. My friends, we are not 18 clans. We are one Hmong clan. We are not Hmong Dar, Hmong Lang, Hmong Laos, Hmong Mika, Hmong Faki, or Hmong China. We are one Hmong. Together, we can rewrite the pages of history and fulfill the promise of our ancestors' dream. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Tao. What I love, okay, hopefully this will stay up. What I loved about what he said was just we are one, and we truly are. What I do impacts you, what Kevin does impacts me, it's all relative, yeah. Next up for our closing remarks, we'd like to welcome Bao back to the stage. She's right there.
What a powerful speech. Wouldn't you agree? Let's give Dai Tao a round of applause again. So Dai makes my job very easy because he said everything that I wanted to say already. So in closing, if I can please have Bruce Tao come up on the stage, and also Chu Vu and Paul Lor, our two board of directors. I just wanted to say that it has been an incredibly rewarding experience for me within these past couple of days, having the honor and the privilege of working side by side with some of our movers and shakers across the country as part of our leadership symposium and our young leaders that make up this wonderful conference. Thank you all for coming. Also, I wanted to congratulate all of our impact winners. The purpose and the vision of why HND was founded was because our co-founders of HND, Molushian Chal, Kapin Hmong Mo Ke Va Meng Li Lu Lu Leng Lu Tu, Kapin Mo Ke Tsa Ken J, Yali Na Le Te Chi Lu Kong Hong Hmong National Development Na, La Mo Wei Kho Chao Tia Ta, E Ko Cha Tsa Khe Cha Chi Tsa, E Ko Cha Ho Mu Tao De Le, Du Cha Pong Ka Te, so that together we can prosper. And so because of that, our mission has always been to empower the Hmong community to achieve prosperity and equality through education, research, policy advocacy, and leadership development. And to this day, we remain very committed to our mission and to these core values. I'm very excited to share with you that HND has been a subsidiary of Hmong American Partnership for the past 5 years. And moving forward, the two boards will completely merged into one. In order for us to be more effective and more efficient in utilizing our resources and our human capital on the HAP side and the HND side, to better serve the community, and to better meet you at the local level, to discuss issues and challenges that hinders our ability to move forward. So beginning in May of 2015 of this year, Hmong National Development and HND will become one national organization. Because of this merger, some of our board of directors who's been long-standing board of directors on the HAB board and HND board are being recognized here because they will not be renewing their terms. So I am very, very honored to have served with Chairman Chu Vu, who was the chairman of HAB board for a while before he actually termed out, and then served on the HND board. And also, I'm very proud and honored to have also served with Paul Lohr, who is, as you may know, the first Hmong judge in the entire country. Let me just tell you that it is because of Paul's leadership and Chris Lohr, who no longer is with us today, it is with their leadership that HND and Hmong American Partnership enter into this partnership or agreement 5 years ago. They're able to put aside their egos. They're able to put aside the fact that they don't have to be a national organization in name only, but that they needed to partner differently. And they needed to model how our Hmong need to come together to pool our resources so that we can be a much more powerful organization. So with that, I wanted to honor our two outgoing board of directors, Chu Vu and Paul Lohr. Okay, not jinx me. And of course, last but not least, many of you know that this conference was made possible because we have outstanding, wonderful leadership, right? Yes, we have outstanding, wonderful leadership. And I just am so proud to be honoring Bruce Tao, who's been with HND and HAP for 5 years now. And I actually met Bruce when he was still in diapers. No, that's probably not right. So I met Bruce when he was still in school. And we actually ran into each other at HND Conference. And he didn't know I was Hmong, I didn't know he was Hmong. And we're like, oh, we're the only two Hmong here. So we started talking, and right away I knew this is a very intelligent young man, and that I must do whatever I can to try to recruit him to come and work for me. And so shortly after that, I did exactly that. I recruited Bruce to come and work for HND. So he started working for me, and I'm like, this young man is so capable. I'm gonna give him more work and have him work for HAP too. So I added on HAP to Bruce's responsibility. And so not only did Bruce become the director of HND, overseeing all of our HND efforts at the national level, but he also became the director of the Children and Family Services at Hmong American Partnership as well. So you can only imagine the kind of leadership and capacity and intelligence one would need to have in order to manage a really big national organization as well as a really strong local nonprofit organization. Bruce, ya if pay tu tum hong wa mo peng su chap lao li ni ya itu tu wa chi qia du lu chu yi chi qia du shi ha Nếu ít tuổi mua cái lu, tôi biết chuyện này mong, thế sao có biết mong mua vào cái và mình là giao toàn đây, xuất thuốc, giả tên mình có issues. Nếu tuổi sau cái được biết mong như là chế đó, and continue to advocate for all Hmong people in Washington D.C. Not only that, but he continues to mentor and be a great role model to the many volunteers that work for us at the conference and also work for us at Hmong American Partnership and to all his staff. For those of you that have worked with Bruce, whether he's your boss or he's a friend or someone that you happen to volunteer for or intern with, you all know what a powerful, great leader Bruce is. And so, I wanted to say that this is actually probably the last conference that Bruce is going to be spearheading, because Bruce is going to be transitioning to a different role on a limited basis. And I told Bruce that maybe that's only on paper, but when we do the 2017 conference, I'm probably going to be calling you in 2016 to start the planning. So you're really not off the hook. But he also has a Bush Fellowship to complete, and will be needing to take some time off to do that as well. But he'll continue to work with not HAP anymore, but HND on a limited capacity. And I am just so thrilled to be working with Bruce for this past 5 years, and I can't wait for him to come and take over my job. So I'm going to give Bruce a few minutes to say a few words to all of you.
I love you too. Oh, that's loud. So, I'll be very brief, but it's so funny because I stood on the HND stage 6 years ago at the 2009 HND Conference in Appleton. I'd never been to a conference before. I got a scholarship like these folks did for my graduate school, and it was the first time I ever met Hmong professionals, and it changed my life. And I never thought that I would be in this role. I never thought I would work for HND. And yet here I am today, having gone through 5 years of leadership with the organization, and I cannot thank Bao enough for believing in me and investing in me and taking a risk on me. It's been one of the hardest jobs I've had, but one of the most rewarding. Hard because not only politics, but Hmong politics, right? For a lot of the issues that we work on, the community may never know the work that we've done because a lot of it is behind the scenes. But we know the impact we've made, not only HND, but also HAP. I have so much love and respect for my staff and my team and my fellow colleagues and directors. We built a foundation that is strong and that was built upon the legacy of past leaders of HAP and HND who paved the way for us. You receive a lot of criticism in this role, but for every one person who criticized me or criticized HND, there were 20 and 30 and 50 others who were touched, who were motivated, who believed in us, and that means the world. It was also difficult because I never worked in the Hmong community before I came to HND. And so when we would have issues or take positions and people were upset with that, they wouldn't call me, they would call my dad. And so that was new. But he was very worried and concerned for me. And so I think that's one of the reasons why I've never come out publicly as a gay Hmong man. But even though my parents know, my family and friends know, it wasn't a mix that you put together, because it's hard enough being a gay person of color, but to be Hmong and in Hmong politics on top of that can be dangerous. My parents were worried about my safety, and so out of respect, I didn't share it publicly while I was in this role. But I knew that before I left, it had to be known that for the last 5 years, a gay Hmong man ran HND. Wow, I was not expecting applause. And it has to be known because, like they spoke in the panel today, the shame and the stigma has to be removed so that, for one, queer Hmong youth know that they have mentors and role models. They know that there's endless possibilities for them, so that there are no more suicides from youth who think that they are not worthy of love, of respect, to be in our families and communities. And again, like they said in the plenary today from those powerful leaders, the future leaders of our community are so diverse with our complex identities. We're not just Hmong men, we're Hmong women, we're queer, we're mixed race, we may marry the same last name, we may marry non-Hmong people, but this is the future and we can embrace it. And I'm no longer afraid of backlash or judgment, because the beauty of the Hmong diaspora is that what ties us together is that we know that our hearts are tied to Hmong worldwide, and that the privilege to be Hmong American is to be able to explore these things. And if it were not for a twist of fate, we would still be in the jungles, we would still be in the villages. And our pride and our culture and heritage is what transcends space and time. And I believe that our community is strong enough to not have who you love define who you are, but how you live your life. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. I am so proud of you. All right. In closing, I just wanted to thank all of you again. I know that we're a little bit over time, and I thank you for your patience. And let me also remind you that Belu Kong Hong National Development, staff for holding the board of directors. Belu Kong Hong National Development, Lu Kong Hong. You had the pay your ship shitty call Bim Hong the Yatonde. Pay thought I need your chu ye, need your gay pa. And it's okay, I don't need to get so genjay, it's okay, I didn't lose she ho. Vì hai tiền đi yo cho sắc chân chê và tuần yo hậu lu hong nọ vì vậy thìจะ share hai tiềnนี่yo lon thọไปchỉคอลูกของหอที่chỉคอเป็นมองเลยยาตอนเด้ต่อไป your impact winners thank you so much for all your accomplishments and all your contributions to our community vì hai tiền chỉ mua ít kho chờ là chỉ mua ít tu nên tư là chỉ lúcของหอtư shan đó recognize ไป your leaders that's why it is so important that we in our Hmong community recognize the contribution of our leaders on an annual basis. So again, my congratulations to the impact winners, and thank you all so very much for coming to the conference and also for participating in our banquet, and thank you to all of our investors and our partners. Good night.